Hi, this is Beth McGinnis. I'm here on July 31st, 2019 at the Perry County Health Department with Dr. Pilar Murphy. And Dr. Murphy has agreed to talk with me about her church, Provewell Baptist Church in Sprott, Alabama. So, Dr. Murphy, would you tell me a little bit about how you came to Provewell Baptist Church? Francis Ford was telling me a little bit about your coming and how glad they were to have you, but tell me a little bit about that, about how you came there.
Okay, well, I moved to Perry County in 2010 from North Little Rock, Arkansas. I have actually been in the church choir since I was about 4 years old. We used to go to church with my mom, and I wanted to sing so badly, but you had to be baptized before you could sing in the choir. So we started going to church with my grandmother every Sunday, and one of my older cousins, who was actually about the same age as my grandmother, she started a youth choir in order for us to be able to sing. And that was just kind of how I started. And so when I came down here, Miss Ford asked me if I knew how to play the piano. And I said, no, I don't know how to play the piano. And she said, well, do you sing? And I said, yes, ma'am. So she was like, well, you should come and sing with us, because they had like some special program or something going on at Provewell. And so I went, and it just felt funny to be singing in the choir and not be a member of the church. And so I joined the church. They are some of the friendliest people that I have ever met in my whole life. I mean, Miss Ford and her family have basically adopted me as part of their family, but Reverend Kirk, our pastor, he drives down from Fairfield every Sunday, every Wednesday. He comes to visit the sick. He really has a pastor's heart. You know, you think about somebody really being a shepherd, that is him. And so I love it. I've been there ever since. Even when I moved to Tuscaloosa for a year to do my residency, I would drive from Tuscaloosa back down here to go to church.
Wow. And your mother sometimes comes to visit, and
She does. So my mom, after I had my son, she now will come and stay like 3 months with me at a time. And so she sings as well. She was the choir director the whole time I was growing up. She directed the youth choir, she directed the adult choir. And so when she came down here, of course, they asked her, do you know how to sing? And she was like, yeah. So they were like, come on and join the choir. So she joined the choir probably I don't know, maybe her second visit down here, she has been singing in the choir. But the last time she came, she actually joined our church under watch care. So she is technically also a member of Provewell. And she's back now, so she'll be in the choir stand on Sunday as well.
that's wonderful.
Yes.
How does the style of music that you sing at Provewell compare to what you sang growing up? Is it very similar?
It's very similar. The only thing that's different is the way they sing the hymns.
Okay.
Like, you know, when we were doing praise and worship at the very beginning, here in Alabama, it's different. When they sing one, like they may say, I love the Lord, He heard my cry, and then they have this little, you hear the little hum part. I never grew up doing that in Arkansas. Ours just kind of flows a little bit faster, but you just kind of assimilate. So now we all, you know, we do the little hum part in the middle. You know what part I'm talking about?
I think I do. So there's the hum part, and does the leader like sort of say the line, say the phrase?
They do.
Quickly?
Those are actually, if you look it up, they're called Old Dr. Watts. I don't know if he's the one who came up with it, but when I grew up, that's what they called them, was Dr. Watts. And so
those hymns?
Those hymns. And they are a particular set of hymns.
Okay.
But you'll hear them just about at every Baptist church around here. So they may throw the leader, it can be a deacon, it can be someone sitting out in the audience, but they'll throw out the verse, and then the congregation picks it up. So, for example, if they say, I love the Lord, He heard my cry, then we come in with, I love the Lord, He heard my cry, and then he comes back and throws out another one, and it's just kind of like a toss and return.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's how church was even when I was a little girl. Like our old deacons, they would, and that's what we call them, they would throw out a hymn. That's what we say. They throw it out and you just return it.
Okay.
So,
yeah, you got to return whatever somebody throws out to you.
Exactly. And so you'll hear, like, there's a lady in our choir, Miss Leola, like, she has a certain one that she throws out. And it's weird because, like, if she's not at church, nobody else throws it out.
Oh.
Like, hers is, oh, Lord, have mercy or something like that. But nobody else does it most of the time when she's not there. So,
interesting. So you said that there was something about that throwing out that reminds you of growing up. But then there was also something that the hum that
is
was
different.
Not like. Okay.
It's different. The cadence, to me, in Alabama is a little bit different. It's a little bit slower than what I was brought up with in Arkansas. But the words are the same, and the general principle of it is still the same.
Yeah. How do you think that different pacing affects the experience of worship?
I don't think it really does. I think it's because we all grew up with them, and when you really listen to the words, like one of them is, "Oh Lord, have mercy. Have mercy, Lord." And it's just weird because you'll hear, it may be that somebody's going through something, but they're really throwing them out. It's not even necessarily for the congregation sometimes. It's for themselves talking to God.
Yeah.
And it's really the same principle of what we did in Arkansas. But even when I went to church for about 6 years in Oklahoma. Same hymns, cadence just a little bit different, but the principle is still the same. Somebody throws it out and then you return it. And it's usually in the prayer service, like where we get together before church. A lot of churches now are going to the praise teams, but we haven't graduated to that yet. So we're still with the deacons up front, but even when Reverend Kirk, he may call for our choir to lead praise and worship, we still we'll do at least one of those hymns, even if we do something more contemporary.
Yeah, and you had a mix of more contemporary things in the service, I heard. Yeah. Will it disturb anybody if I just play quietly a little bit of some of this? And I'd love for you to be able to just sort of tell me what I'm hearing and talk me through it. So this one is... I think I've got them in alphabetical order instead of the order of the service now. But I'm going to, let's see. I can play with, so this is Alas, and Did My Savior Bleed? I think. Is that too loud?
Oh, so that's actually at the cross. Okay.
It is. Yeah. That's right. At the cross, right.
And so we have a morning hymn. So first Sundays we normally sing, and it changes every year. Like when he gives us a theme for the year, we usually have a church hymn for the year, and we'll sing that same hymn for the first Sunday.
Okay.
But then just throughout the month, sometimes he'll ask the choir like what hymn we want to sing, or he'll come up with the hymn. Most Sundays, Reverend Kirk comes up with the hymn. He has some favorites. Sure. But yeah, that one was at the cross. I'm not sure if that was first Sunday or not, because we normally will sing something about like crucifixion or whatever first Sunday always.
Oh, okay. So that might make sense if that's
right.
So it would be the hymn for that Sunday.
So that would be the morning hymn.
The morning hymn, and it had piano and drum set. Yeah, so that's.
And see, you happen to be there on a Sunday because the little guy who plays the drums, He is actually our pastor's youngest daughter. She goes to Auburn.
Right.
And so that was her boyfriend.
Yeah.
He plays on the football team, but he grew up playing the drums at his church. And so when he comes to our church, because we don't have a drummer right now,
Yeah.
he'll just play.
So I was lucky that I.
You were lucky that
that I heard him.
Normally we're just clapping and foot
Yeah.
stomping.
Well, that's good too.
But that's what we do, yeah.
So this one, I've got this labeled altar call, and this is going to be a different style.
It is.
Right. So I'll play just a little bit of this.
That's actually a praise service. That's actually
the praise
the deacons.
service. Okay. Okay. So the deacons are leading this.
Yes. And that's why you hear a whole lot of off keys.
So
that's actually like an old hymn that one of the deacons threw out during the praise and worship before church. Well,
okay.
It's like at the very beginning of church.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. And so that's an example of the throwing out the hymn.
Yes.
And everybody joins.
Exactly.
Right.
And because you see how slow it is as well.
Yes.
Those are usually more. Those will be kind of along the same lines as Negro spirituals almost.
Right. Okay. In the same musical style.
Yeah.
Because you could just in whatever setting you were in, you could throw it out and it could be answered.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the choir anthem that I think I've got it right. Let's see. There's the piano again. Oh, there's the boyfriend joining in.
Yeah, Devin. And he's a sweet. Yeah, that is like what you would consider an anthem. We normally and for us, we'll say a song with a leader and without a leader.
Okay.
And so that would be one of our songs that we don't have to have a leader for. We normally don't have to have a director for. Everybody should just know the words. For us, it's almost not technically an anthem. Our anthems usually are more choppy. And so I don't even know what you would call that one, but it's just like, it would be like a praise song.
Yeah.
But I think we sung it just as a regular choir selection that Sunday.
And so the next one that I've got it labeled, this is just my own labeling, but choir anthem with you as the soloist. And so does that mean that you would have been the leader for that?
Yes. Because like we would say, who leads that song? They'd be like,
so that's different.
Yeah, Brenda loves that song.
Okay.
That's why we sang it that Sunday.
Tell me about that.
That is actually a song that a lady, that is a very old song. That song has to be 40 years old, I promise. We call it Help Me Lift Jesus.
Help me lift Jesus.
Help me lift Jesus, because you'll know at the end of it, the leader will say, I wonder who will. And growing up, there was a lady named Val. She sang that song. She's about my mom's age. That was one of my favorite songs when I was a little girl. And it's weird because I really like traditional gospel music. I think it's because that's what I grew up on.
Yeah.
And all traditional, they always mention Jesus.
Yeah.
Some of the songs you listen to now, they're so contemporary, you really don't know who they're talking about that they love. It's like, is it Jesus that you love? Is it a lady that you love? You love your children? But all of the songs when I was growing up, I mean, you knew they are talking about God. They are talking about Jesus. And it's weird because at Provewell, we are more traditional. And so my little boy, he's 3, but he... that's kind of like what he associates, like with church is the music. Like he'll say, I
Yeah.
want to sing.
Yeah.
I want, like he calls Reverend Kirk Papa.
Oh.
And so if he wakes up like his days and get a little mixed up if we miss church or something.
Yeah.
So he woke up Tuesday morning. He woke up yesterday and he was, I want to see Papa. I want to sing.
Oh.
But he knows the difference between those songs and stuff that you hear on the radio.
Yeah.
It's just a totally
Yeah.
different thing. But yeah, that song, I loved that song when I was a little girl.
Oh.
And they are so ingrained in me. Like, it's like I can just remember the words. I don't need any paper. Even when I taught our choir this song, it was just straight from memory, not having to go back and
Wow.
and listen to anything. Because, see, when I was a little girl growing up, our youth choir, we sat on the front row. So we marched in behind the, because like we don't march in anymore, but a lot of Baptist churches do still march in, go to the choir stand. And so we would march in and we sat on the front row. Because, you know, back then we didn't have children's church and all of that. So
Right.
we learned and sang right along with everybody else. So those are the songs that really have, to me, have the most meaning. Because I would say now I can listen to a song. It's weird because there's a song that I sing in our choir now. It's called Grace. But I cannot, I know it. I like the song. It's a wonderful song. But sometimes I forget the words. But those songs that I sang when I was a little girl and I'm still singing now, it's like they are just in my heart.
Yeah.
I'll never forget them. I could have Alzheimer's, but I would still know the words to that song.
Yeah.
And you know how you hear people say that, like,
That's right.
Mom didn't know. That would be me, because they are so, it's just like they are a part of me. Because like when I say, I don't think I could go to church and not sing.
Yeah.
I have, and I remember I had gone to Provewell. I visited a couple of other churches when I first got down here, but to me it doesn't even seem right to sit in the audience. I'm a choir member. I don't necessarily think I'm a choir director. I direct our choir, help teach a lot of the songs, but I'm just a choir member. I love singing. It's just what I do.
Yeah. Well, I can hear that when you sing, for sure.
Thank you.
You said you visited other churches in this same area. Are the musical styles similar to Provewell?
They are. You have different districts, and so further out in Perry County, like East Perry, you have our church is like in the Sprott area. So you have I'm trying to think of the name of Miss Hornbuckle's church. Mount Pilgrim, Mount Gilead, Provewell. We are all very similar. Hickory Grove, they're kind of on another end, but very traditional. But then you have Providence, that's right here in town. They're a little bit more contemporary than we are. So if you go there, you're going to hear more of the songs that you would hear on the radio. We sing things that are off the radio, but we sing a lot of old stuff from back in the day that we know everybody knows, and sometimes we might change the music up just a little bit. We always say at our church, like, if it's, because we're so few in number, like we might have 6 or 7 people in the choir, so if it's a part where you're supposed to break out into sopranos, altos, and tenors, we might just do 2 of the parts instead of all 3. But we always say we're doing the Provewell version. So this is the Provewell version. But yeah, some of the churches, like I would say Berean, it's right here in town, they do a lot more contemporary than we do.
And a lot of people in your church grew up in your church, is that right?
Yes. You think about like Miss Ford. That's all she knows. Her brothers, that's all they know. Her aunt has been there. She's in her 80s. That's all she knows. Most of our motherboard have been at Provewell their whole life. So yeah.
So the motherboard, tell me about that. What's that?
The motherboard is usually, I think you have to be at least 65 to be a mother of the church. And it's very similar to being an elder, like a deacon, but they don't have to go through all the training. But their whole goal, like they usually will prepare communion and help with communion. They help make sure that the table is spread. They're the ones who always tell the children, like, you do not touch that table when it's set for communion. But they also help with counseling, like young women in our church. Like, for example, if Sister King, like I said, she's in her 80s, but she is such an encourager. And she takes her role as, because we call her the mother of the church because she has been there her whole life. But when she stands up, she just imparts wisdom. You'll see them like on the first Sunday, they always wear white. When I was growing up, our mother's board, they would wear white everything. I'm talking about my grandma they were so into it. It was like even your undergarments had to be white.
Wow.
On first Sunday. They always wore white stockings, white shoes. Now you don't see it as strict anymore, but they usually will have their heads covered during communion. It's just really a sacred time, but they are like a counterpart to the deacons in the church without having to like go through all the training.
Yeah.
And they have to be at least 65.
I think when I was there, it was a first Sunday, partly because of the At the Cross hymn, but partly because I do remember some of the ladies being dressed all in white.
And like our choir on Communion Sunday, we will normally wear white during the summer. During the winter, we'll wear our robes, like our choir robes. But when it's so hot in the summer, we usually wear white. Even Zion, he will usually have on white shirt and black pants. Reverend Kirk was talking about he's even going to get him a tie to match the deacons because because you saw he was in the choir.
Yeah.
He's up there and he's singing. He'll play the tambourine if you let him.
Yeah.
But yeah, so.
What kind of training do the deacons go through?
So usually when somebody they really do. At my church, and even when I was growing up, and it may be that Provewell reminds me so much of my church when I was growing up that I really was drawn there and feel at home there. But normally they really do what the Bible says. They look among themselves and they look for men who fit the qualifications of a deacon, like where it says in the Bible can't be a big drinker. It doesn't say you can't drink, but can't be a big drinker. Has to have a pretty good name in the community, and then somebody that you can trust with church business. So right now we do have a man who's undergoing his deacon's training, and so he helps with praise service. He sits in on the meetings. He just has not been ordained yet. Can we take just one minute?
Yeah, yes, of course. So I'm back with Dr. Pilar Murphy on July 31st, and I wondered if you could just listen to a few more of these music selections. And
you see, we sing a lot too, don't we?
I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different recordings of the service.
Because we normally will
beautiful.
sing at least 2 during praise service. Then we sing the morning hymn. Then we sing during offering. The choir does 2 selections. We sing during altar call. We have the song after the sermon, which we normally don't rehearse for because we try to come up with something that goes along with the sermon.
That makes sense.
And then we sing the closing song.
Yeah,
that's a lot of songs.
It's so the music really leads the service, doesn't it? I think. Let's see. I think I played this for you already. Well, I just want to make sure that this may not be one that I've played for you yet. I've just got it labeled choir anthem.
Yeah, that was He's All Over Me. Because Brenda sang that song. So Brenda led that song.
Okay. So that was one of those anthems that requires a leader.
Yes.
You said it's He's All Over Me.
Yes.
That's the title.
That's the title.
Okay. Just make sure I've got that right.
And you'll notice that was one that I actually had to direct.
Okay.
Because like at the end, he's on the right, he's on the left, in front and back, over me, under me, and he's living down inside.
Right.
And so some songs you don't need a director, but because that one is so quick, the words can come up on you so quick, you almost need a director to tell you, okay, right, left, front, back, over me, under me, and he's living down inside, and it just keeps repeating. So.
Oh, that's good. That's so helpful to understand. So Brenda would have been the leader because she was the soloist
Yes.
But you're directing.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So the leader is not the same as the director necessarily.
No.
Yeah.
Our director usually is there to make sure that the choir knows when to come in, because like on that song, it's the beginning of the song and the end of the song when you get to the repeat, front, back, and all of that. Even though it's a repeat, you want to make sure everybody knows the words and that they stay on the right beat. So that's normally why you would have a director. Also, sometimes if you have a song that has a lot of difficult parts or words, you might need a director to help make sure that everybody's on the same page. One person isn't coming in before everybody else or holding a note longer than everybody else or something like that.
Yeah.
But we don't have a director for all of our songs.
Yeah. Is this one a more or less a newer?
This was
song?
one we hadn't sung in a long time, so we had kind of we say we pulled it back up.
Okay, good. I love it. Let's see, this one, let me go back down here to, now this one I believe is a solo that you sang. I'm not sure if the choir joined you on this or not. Let's see. There.
Oh.
And I think it was just you,
It was a
wasn't
solo.
Yeah.
Reverend Kirk loves to just call on me to sing a solo. He does.
How do you feel about that?
I just have to stay prepared. Yeah. I have a Bible, and I normally will just write songs in the very back of it, like songs that I might be sitting in church sometimes, and a song will just be on my heart, and I'll jot it down, or a song that I'm thinking about singing for something. So if I can't think of anything, I usually just look at the back of my Bible, and it's always something there. But yeah, it's one of those be ye also ready opportunities, and I'm normally ready, and it's usually weird because some Sunday mornings, even though he will not call me and say I want you to sing a song for me today, but some Sundays I'll wake up and I'll just know you need to get something ready, and so I'll be at home just kind of humming something or whatever, and then when I get to church, I already know. So sometimes because he'll just kind of turn around from the pulpit and be like, "Come on and sing me a song," and you just get on up and sing the song, you know.
That's a beautiful story about being ready. That's you got to keep your lamps burning, right?
That's right, you do, because you never know. I mean, sometimes we have gone places, or I've gone to a church or whatever. I went to a service during Holy Week at Miss Cosby's church.
Okay.
Can't think of the name of it right now, but I was just sitting in the audience, and their pastor called me up. He was like, "Oh, well, come on," and you just get on up and you just sing. So you just stay ready. Yeah. But I stay ready because I'm singing all the time. I'm singing in the car. I'm singing when I'm washing dishes. I'm humming. So it's always something on my heart.
Is Zion like that too?
He is. Right now he's humming theme songs, so like from his cartoons, like he knows the PJ Masks, and it's weird because he even when he doesn't know the words, we know what he's singing. His church song that he really likes, though, he loves "Yes, Jesus Loves Me," and and he's 3. He doesn't know all the words yet, but you know what song he's singing. Yeah, and he loves a microphone, and so he sometimes after church, most of the time after church is when he and I sing, because he'll have opportunity, or if we get to choir rehearsal before everybody, I normally try to get there a little early, and we'll just kind of sing. Yeah. And he likes it. But he didn't do it the Sunday you guys were there. But Mr. Arnold is our piano player. He grew up here in Perry County. He went off to college a couple of years and then worked for years. But he's always played for a church. And when you hear him play, you would think that he had been formally trained. He said he took like 2 years of piano when he was a little boy. Wow. His dad has passed away maybe a couple of years ago, but his dad's name was Reverend O.C. Dobine. He was real big in the civil rights movement and things like that. He pastored, basically. I think he might have started pastoring in his early 20s. And so Mr. Dobine told me a couple of Sundays ago, he said, I only took a couple of years, but my mom, because you know his mom has always been with the daddy, she would sing songs at home and tell him, okay, Arnold, now jazz it up a little bit. And that's just kind of, so it's weird because Zion will sit on the piano next to Mr. Arnold sometimes, and he will just be on that whatever end it is that has the really high.
Yes.
He'll just be playing and playing and playing, just jibber jabber on the. But it doesn't bother Mr. Arnold. He just plays, and it tickles us so much because I'm like, I don't see how he can do it, but he is so anointed. He told me, he said, I think he's like me and my mom are about singing with the piano. He said I have gone to, he said he was at a mall in Chicago and they had like a grand piano. He was like, I could not just walk by it and not play it. He said, I had to sit down. He had some brothers, and he was like, he said, my brother was like, get off those folks' piano. He said, but I thought to myself, when else am I going to have an opportunity to play a beautiful grand piano? But we always laugh because we tell Mr. Arnold, our piano at Provewell has never sounded the way it sounds when he plays. And if you know, like my mom, she told me, because she hadn't met him before until she just came back this time. She said, I sat, because she didn't sing in the choir her first Sunday getting back. She said, I hadn't been to choir rehearsal, so I'm going to sit out. She said, he smiles the whole time he plays that piano. I said, he does, doesn't he? She said, you can tell he just loves what he's doing. So to me, he makes us sound so much better because we've been without a piano player for about 3 years, and we've been just singing a cappella. I think it pushes you though because you don't have anything else to fill in those gaps. I think it made us better. It made us really have to be, because I tell folks, to me, because I can't play the piano, I wish I could, but my voice is my instrument, and so I have to learn how to do different things with it because I'm known to have to sing all three parts. You know, as a director, I have to get sopranos, altos, and tenors their part.
Right.
But it kind of stretches you, and you kind of get to see all these different things that you actually can do with your voice. But it's different to me in church. It's different than from a person who can, because I don't necessarily think I sing the best, but I know that's my gift. And sometimes I will stand up and sing, and people will be like, oh, you really blessed me. And I'm thinking, whatever came out of my mouth and what you heard, the Lord had to have changed it. Because sometimes I really do. I think, oh, I sounded a mess. But that'll be the Sunday that people are really touched. But I think it's because when you're at your worst, that's when God can really show up and he can use the gift. But I don't know. For me, I love it. I'm passionate about it. It's just part of who I am.
Yeah. Well, I can say it's both. You know, I think you're a beautiful singer, and you blessed me when I was there and heard
I'm
you.
glad.
I think it's both. And I think I could really see with Zion, I could see what happened with you growing up singing in the church. I could see him sitting there on the bench next to Mr. Arnold.
Right.
And
he did sit there, didn't he?
yeah. And I could see him picking that up, you know. So one day when he's grown up.
Because when Mr. Arnold first got there, whenever he would try to get over there and sit by him, I would try to pull him off. I'm like, get down. And he told me, he said, you never know what the Lord is going to do with him. It doesn't bother me. Just let him sit there. And so now when he goes, and it's so weird because he normally likes to play when I'm singing. And there have been Sundays when I have stood up to sing and I didn't get the microphone. He will go and get the microphone and hand it to me and be like, here, mama.
Oh, good.
It's just weird. But I guess it's too because that's all he does is goes to church and goes home and goes to school. So that's really all he knows. It's just kind of part of who he is too.
His routines. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's just maybe one or two others. Let's see. I don't think I've played this invitation to discipleship.
Okay.
But maybe you can tell me something about that.
You can come today. If you were not a church home, you can come today and be a part of this church baptism. You can come by letter, you can come as a candidate of baptism. You may come by Christian experience, but you come with every someone today who wish to come and give their life to our Lord and to our Savior Jesus Christ. Trust God today. Would you come?
Yeah. And so that song, I can't remember what he preached about, but it must have had something to do with needing, because he's been preaching this year on grace, and so that's probably why we sang that one. But we normally try to make sure that the song flows with. So you sometimes will see us scrambling around like, what are we gonna sing after he preaches, just to make sure. But the song that we sing after the sermon, the discipleship song, is usually a slower song, and you're really trying to prick people's heart for them to be able to take the message, and you're hoping that the song goes with the message so that it really does open up their heart to receive Christ if they don't know him.
Yeah.
Or if there is a need for prayer. It kind of just sets the tone for people to be able to come.
Yeah.
When I was in college, I really did learn and see the significance of making sure, because in the Bible, the Levites were the singers. They were the singers unto the Lord, and they fought battles. You think they would send the choir out before to set the ground, to set the stage, and there were times when all they had to do was send the choir out and the battle was won. And so for us, that's what we look at our role. Our role is to set the stage and to prime people's heart, to break up those hard hearts, so that when the word goes forth and he's planting that seed, the heart has already been broken some, so that those seeds can fall on good ground. And for me, that's kind of like my role. It's not to entertain, it's to really set the stage for when the pastor comes to bring the word, or when it's time for prayer, for your heart to be getting prepared, or when it's time for the call for discipleship, for you to really be thinking about, is it time for me to make a decision to give my life to the Lord? And when you think about that song, I Need You, Lord Jesus, Marsha Ford, she was actually leading that one. But that song goes through 3 different stories in the Bible. It tells you about the blind man who Jesus restored his sight. It tells you about the woman with the issue of blood. And she says, like, there was a woman in the Bible days. She was sick for 12 long years, but she knew, if I touched the hem of his garment. And so when if you're sitting in the audience and you just heard that word and that song comes and you say, I really do need the Lord. Our hope is that something will happen in your heart, in your spirit, that will tell you, today is the day that you need to give your life to Christ. Because Reverend Kirk always tells us, today could be your last day. You got to praise him like you never praised him, because you don't know if you're going to wake up tomorrow. You could be at church one moment, and for him, he's driving down the highway. You don't know what's going to happen. And so today might be your day. And so that's normally what we're trying to do, is just make sure. And it's kind of almost to seal that word in your heart. The last thing we want you to do is hear a wonderful sermon, but then when you leave church, it didn't make a difference in your life. And so we want that song to go along with the sermon, to almost seal it in your heart. Does that make sense?
That's powerful. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's really powerful.
You could tell we take it seriously,
Yes.
because that's us. It's like when we're, and it's weird because we even have a good time in choir rehearsal. We have folks sometimes in choir rehearsal, they get to shout, because, and for us it's an opportunity, because we're the only ones that are there. Nobody else is there, and we really get to minister. We get to minister to each other. We get to really just sing unto the Lord.
Yeah.
So,
Do you need here? Take a moment here. Well, I have just maybe one more recording to play for you, if you don't mind. And this is not one that I made at Provewell.
okay.
But something that you said earlier made me want to check in and see if this is the same hymn or song that you were telling me about earlier. It's "O Lord, Have Mercy," and I want to see if you recognize it as what you. She's introducing.
I know that song.
You do? Okay. What can you tell me about it?
I was a little girl,
Okay.
and I'm not gonna cry, but it was two ladies at my church that sang that song together.
Uh-huh.
Both of them were around my mom's age. The one lady's name was Miss Maggie Rose Nicholson,
Uh-huh.
and the other lady's name was Miss Virginia Franklin. They looked total opposite from each other. Miss Maggie Rose was a short, real fat lady, and Miss Virginia Franklin was a really tall, thin lady. She sang like, when I was a little girl, she had the most beautiful voice. She sang like this really, really, really high soprano. Miss Maggie Rose, though, she could sing anything. She was kind of like my mom to me. She could sing soprano, alto, tenor. But when they sang that song, that is the exact same song. I could sing that song for you. I know what it is. But Miss Miss Maggie Rose, she would say, "Oh Lord, have mercy." And then Miss Virginia Franklin would come in with that, "Oh Lord, have mercy." But it was really, really high. It was beautiful. I can remember being a little girl and that song making me cry.
Yeah.
And then there was a part in there where they say, "Oh Lord, we need you."
Yes.
And then there's a little part where they say, have mercy on me. Yes. So it's not the Dr. Watts have mercy, but yes, I know that song.
It's a different.
So yeah, it's
Yeah.
just But when I heard that lady, yes.
What
That's
about?
a really old song.
Yeah.
Probably I can remember it from when I was a little girl, but it was
Yeah.
one, and that would be usually a song that somebody would be called up to sing like before the sermon or after the sermon. Like that's not like a regular choir song.
Okay.
That's one of those songs where either the spirit has really, really been high and you're trying to keep it there, or you need a shift in the spirit. That song always shift. I bet when you were at that church, it shifted the spirit. Did it not? That's what that song was made for.
Yeah.
It was made to shift the spirit.
Wow.
You cannot hear that song because all of us, that's our plea
Yeah.
to the Lord. When you're going through, that's your plea. Have mercy, Lord.
That's right.
Yeah, but it's a different version than the one Miss Leola
Yeah.
throws because hers is an old Dr. Watts. I can't think of how hers goes right now because she's the only one that throws it out. But I know that.
Would you sing this version at Provewell? Do you sometimes?
We don't sing that one. That would probably be a song that one Sunday if Reverend Kirk called for like a solo. That would probably be a song like me or my mom would sing together. Yeah.
That'd be special.
Yeah.
What about this? Let's see if
That
you
is
recognize.
weird.
Isn't that funny?
It's amazing. Yeah. That's usually a praise and worship. We sing that one at our song.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, at our church.
In fact, I think I heard it when I was there. I think
Do
you
Lord,
did.
do Lord, do remember me. Yes.
Yeah.
But that's usually one that you would sing during praise and worship before church. Like you probably will never hear that song sung. It's like what we consider a choir song or a selection.
Yeah.
That's usually either a deacon would start it and then the church just kind of picks it up.
Yeah.
Or like that, probably a little lady that was sitting in the audience would throw it out and then everybody would know it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's so fun to listen through this. I really appreciate you
Yes.
taking time to do
You're
that.
welcome.
Now, I said at the beginning of our interview that we're here at the Perry County Health Department, and we've talked about your church and about music. I haven't contextualized any of your work here.
Okay.
Would you mind just briefly to describe what you do in the health clinic on Wednesday afternoons?
Okay. So we have a hypertension clinic. It's actually the cardiovascular risk reduction clinic, but we call it the hypertension clinic. So patients can come in. The services that we provide are free. So we monitor them for cardiovascular risk factors, diabetes, obesity, so anything that could contribute to heart disease. We talk to the patients about their medication. We monitor their blood pressure. If it's high, we counsel them on if they're non-compliant or which one of their meds could be causing different issues. And we treat it like an office visit with a provider. So I have students who normally will come down. They rotate in clinic with me. If we have an issue, we will notify the patient's doctor, like their primary care physician. Because when you think about it, most people don't go, even if they have a chronic disease, they don't go to the doctor about every 3 months, maybe. But they can come here every week, get monitored, see if anything may be developing. We have called drug interactions. We're thinking maybe we have a patient who has a little arrhythmia, so we have recommended EKGs and things like that. But the thing I like most about my job is we get to provide the service and really be the hands and feet of Christ without having to worry about payment. Because we do that in conjunction with Sowing Seeds of Hope.
Yeah, and Miss Ford described her work with Sowing Seeds of Hope as a ministry for sure.
It is.
That's her mission.
It is.
Yeah.
I tell people I have learned so much just being down here and working under Miss Ford. She used to be here with me. Now they're over at the other building, but she has such a heart for people. She's one of those people, when you really say want to be the hands and feet of Christ, that's her every single day, every day. We always laugh. Her brother is one of the deacons in my church, and we would talk. I tell my students this story. We were talking one time about what we would do if we won the lottery. He said it wouldn't do Frances any good to win the lottery because she'd give all her money away. And she would. But yeah, it is. It's a ministry, and we treat it as such because the mission and the vision of Sowing Seeds of Hope is to serve the least of these. And so a lot of our patients don't have insurance. They may be underinsured. They don't really know how to navigate through the healthcare system. And we get to help them do that and try to help them have better outcomes and just basically see what we can do to help make their lives better. Yeah.
It's a beautiful ministry.
I love, and I tell people I like coming to work. I still like, and to me that makes a difference. But I like coming to work in the morning.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Murphy, do you have anything that I didn't ask that you'd like to say before we wrap up?
I don't think so. I have enjoyed just talking about church and music. Being a little girl, I could just really see the difference. My mama can really sing. I wish you had an opportunity to hear her. I will say one thing, and that's related to my mom. When I was growing up, I used to think I could sing. See, now I realize that I really can't. I realize that it's the Lord using me. But when I was younger, I thought I could sing, and but I always would get nervous, and I still get nervous. And my mom told me, if you just close your eyes and don't sing to the people, but sing to the Lord. And that's what I still do, which is why it's hard for me to direct, because I'm so used to, every time I stand up to sing, I usually have my eyes closed, because to me it's not about I feel like if I can sing to the Lord and I'm really talking to Him and I'm using that as an opportunity for Him to minister to me, other people will be blessed no matter what. And so that's usually what I try to stand up and do. I just close my eyes, and it's just me and you, Lord. And that's usually when I have my best outcome. It's just me and you, Lord. So I guess I have to, like they say, give a shout out to my mama, because from a little girl, and for her being able to say, my baby wants to sing, and she found a way for me to be able to do that. And I always tell people that, they're like, how long have you always been? I'm like, I literally have sang my whole life, because I can remember the church that we were going to, and we would go to choir rehearsal with my mom, and I wanted to be up there with them singing. I wanted to sing on Sunday mornings, and they were like, you have to be baptized. But I was 4, I hadn't made that decision yet. And so she sent us somewhere where that could be nurtured. And so I don't think I would be the person that I am had that not shifted. And it kind of showed me too, like even with my little boy, you have to listen to your children and what they're telling you that they need, because choir rehearsal, being in the choir taught us so much discipline. Like back in the day, it didn't matter what was going on, because we had choir rehearsal on Saturday mornings at like 11 o'clock. It didn't matter if there was a birthday party going on. It didn't matter if people were going swimming. If we had choir rehearsal, we always went to church first, and everything else lined up after that. And so it kind of taught me discipline. It taught me priorities. It taught me faithfulness. Because you can't be a member of the choir and you show up when you get ready. There have been some Sundays where I've woke up and I'm like, I'm so tired I could stay at home. But because of the ministry, and those are usually the Sundays that you get poured into the most. So I think that would be the thing that I would want people to take away is we're not standing just singing, but we truly are ministering. Sometimes not even to you, but to ourselves.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because you play too, right? So that's
I do.
you understand exactly what I'm saying.
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
I think it's a different style of music, but I do think the spirit is very much the same. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a vital role in the church. You
Yeah.
really have to take it seriously. And it's not about how you sound like, because we mess with Miss Ford all the time because we tell her she can't rock and clap at the same time. But she is the epitome of making a joyful noise. She really is. We always have to put her in between two people to make sure she stays on
She
beat.
goes the right way?
Yeah,
Yeah.
to make sure she's on the right key. But she is, it's all about for real making that joyful noise. And the joyful noise is what really reaches God's heart. And if it reaches God's heart, you know it's going to touch the people. So.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, my church, we it's a different style, as I said, but every now and then we've done a gospel piece, and we tried one time to do the step-in back and forth.
Right.
And we have one lady, we had to put her between some people because she just kept going in one direction.
Right.
She
Oh.
wouldn't never step back.
Oh,
you know?
Lord.
We were like, you're going to fall off the choir line.
Right. So let's just,
She was
do you know what gospel song it was?
I don't remember. It's been
Okay.
years since that happened, but
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure you probably would know it.
Probably. But yeah. But I have enjoyed talking about this. I really have. It brings up, it's kind of like a reminder for me, like why I do what I do. And I do it because it brings so much joy. But even like when I'm at home, if I'm going through, I have had days where I was just like, I was having just a bad day. Or it's weird because my baby, when I was pregnant with him, at the very end, I started having complications. And his name is Zion. And I would sing, there's a song, a hymn, that talks about Zion, and I would sing that, and that's like he still knows that song, and so sometimes that's what he'll say, "Mama, sing," and he'll just, and you could just tell, he knows this song. So, but I do, and I don't know, it brings peace and comfort, and I think I sing better at home than I do at church, because for real, it's just me and the Lord.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
There's no chance that anybody's going to think it's a performance or anything.
Exactly. And he don't care how I sound.
Yeah.
You know, I could try some stuff at home and I'm like, oh, that ain't sound right. And I could fix it and not have to worry about the judgment of people. But
Yeah,
I do it. It's just an integral part of who I am, I
yeah,
think.
yeah. I can see that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for
You're
taking
welcome.
the time to talk with me
I have
today.
enjoyed it.
Me too.